Another week, another victory Monday out of the Meadowlands, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Burgundy Ballers, welcome back to another Victory Monday episode here on the Ballin and Burgundy podcast. Yeah, myself, Chris, and Andrew, the three out of the four, the fellas are back in the building. Guys, what's going on?
What's up? What's up? Another week, another win. It's looking good for us right now.
7-2.
Hey, man, 7-2, the first time since any of us were born and anything before Dan Snyder took over the team. But guys, we gotta get into a few things. Don't forget, like and subscribe here on YouTube, here on the Ball and Burgundy Podcast YouTube channel. We're on the road to 500 subscribers. We hit the 400 mark last episode with the OTF fellas. So shout out to them and shout out to everyone who subscribed. But hit the subscribe button. Hit that post notification bell every time that we upload. TikTok and Instagram at Ball and Burgundy Podcast. Twitter at BIB Podcast 22 because Twitter hates long usernames, and I wish we could done all these the same across the board. But let's get into it. 27-22. It could have gone a lot of different ways. How we feel?
I felt better about games, to say the least. I feel like it was a little sloppy at times. There was definitely we had some errors that we needed to fix and didn't end up correcting for a long time, and that cost us in the long run. But we came out to win, close or not, doesn't really matter. We're 7-2. They're not, so I'm feeling pretty good.
Chris, how we feeling?
How the hell we gonna let the Giants almost come back and win? What the hell? Look, I was at I was at work, so I was listening to most of the game. You blame Walmart for that, all right? No. I seen the second quarter and we exploded, and I was like, all right, cool, I'm gonna head back to work. We chilling 21-7, and then I look at the score and I'm like, what the hell? But you know what? It's all good because you know what? We got the W. Now we just looking forward to Pittsburgh next week. We still got to take it one game at a time, one step, one drive, one play. We're fine.
Yeah. Hey, it like Chris said, or like Andrew said, it was a very just sloppy and interesting quarter. Now, first half, we looked like we just didn't know how to stop the bricks. Terry McLaurin had the touchdown in the first quarter on that slide route in the front of the end zone. Looked absolutely crispy. Giants come down, they score on their own. So we say, we're gonna respond with an Austin Eckler touchdown. He runs it in for a few yards, gets it to the end zone, 14-7. They don't do anything. We decide, you know what? One isn't enough for Scary Terry playing peekaboo on the sideline. So we throw him a beautiful on like 2nd and 10 from like the 22-ish yard line. Jayden throws this picture perfect over the top touchdown to Terry on Dante Banks, mind you, to put us up 21 points. Now, second half, we did a whole lot of nothing. But here's the most interesting stat out of this first half. Well, stats. Daniel Jones, DJ 8, Danny Dimes, Danny 2 nickels, Danny 10 pennies. First quarterback with 0 passing yards and a touchdown pass in the first half since November 14th, 2021. You want to know who did that back then? Mr. Cameron Newton. Superman did that back in 01. Daniel Jones had, in the first half, 4 completions. He was 4 of 6 for 1 passing yard and 0 pass touchdown, 0 passing yards. He had -2. He had like -6 passing yards at one point.
And the touchdown made up for that with 6 passing yards. Yeah.
Yeah. In the first half,
0.
We had 68 rushing yards, 113 passing yards. So we had 180 yards total offense. We had the fumble recovery from Dante Fowler, which really should have been taken back for a touchdown, but they blew it dead. So we got a touchdown off of that. The Giants had no takeaways, no points off takeaways. -8 passing yards, but 142 rushing yards. They had 115 in the first quarter.
Crazy. Yeah.
They ran the ball down our throats, no Diddy style.
And we couldn't stop it either. Like
No.
we knew they were going to be running it every play. They threw it once. For how long? How long did that go for?
They didn't get a true passing yard until like halfway through the third quarter.
Yeah, so we knew they were running it, but we still couldn't stop it. That's how bad it was.
Mm-mm.
And they were just running down our defense. They were getting tired out there. So
Yeah.
luckily they didn't score too much off of it, but it was a serious problem. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they ended the game with a total of 164 rushing yards and 162 passing yards. Mind you, all those passing yards came in the
Second
second
half.
half.
Yep.
You let up a full game's worth of passing yards in one half. Now, when some of the throws, like the Theo Johnson one that puts you up at 22, goes for 25 and a touchdown when we're playing, 4-man square COVID distance around Theo Johnson, and he had a rough day. The rookie tight end had a rough day. But
He
like
sort of made
Malignant,
up with it with that touchdown though.
yeah, he did. So I can't give him too much
Yeah.
flack because we're also
He
not
had some
Giants
bad
fans.
drops.
Yeah, it wasn't his best day on the field. But again, he's a
Yeah.
rookie. He'll make up for it.
Yeah.
But those last two drives, they went down for touchdowns, just dink and dunk, run and run, dink and dunk. Like it wasn't the prettiest of defenses. We would make a stop for like 2nd and 16, and then would turn into 3rd and 2. I think
Yep.
it was the first touchdown drive they had. They were 2 for 2 on 4th downs because they're all 4th-and-1s. Run defense needs some help. I don't know if it's because Allen's not there. I don't know if it's because between Jerzon and Holmes and Payne and Newton, there's just not enough meat in the middle. Not enough, girth to fill up those holes. Pause. I don't know if it's the edges just not knowing their alignment, assignment, responsibility to close the edge, but they were running the ball not even to the edges, up the middle,
Mm-hmm.
and we were like pushing. Here you go.
Yeah. It was a problem. And I mean, every time that they were running it, it was usually 3 full plays. First down, they'd get some
Yep.
yardage. Second down, they'd pick up even more, be 3rd and short every time. Every time it's 3rd and short, and then they'd barely convert it and it'd start over again.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was bad.
It was sloppy, but I mean, Grant Paulson said it best. Daniel Jones had a season high in rushing yards, and we're a minute into the second quarter. Death, taxes, and Daniel Jones versus Washington. He said it best.
Danny Dimes.
Danny Dimes, Danny Two Nickels, whatever you want to call him, he was putting on a show. Now, outside of the fumble, no turnovers. It was a relatively clean game. According to John Keim, Washington's 3 turnovers are the fewest by a team in the first 9 games of a season since 1933. Jayden has thrown 2 picks, and I think we've had a fumble this year.
Yep.
That's it.
Very impressive from a rookie quarterback.
Yep.
And a brand new offensive scheme with a new offensive coordinator, lots of young players. Not at all really what any of us were expecting.
Nope.
I mean, honestly, yeah, and that's a key reason for why we're scoring so many points is we're not turning the ball over and giving the other team the chance. So,
Nope.
yeah, good football.
It's a great time. Chris, you'll enjoy this stat as we were proclaiming it earlier. We didn't let up a single sack today, and yet the Giants lead the league in sacks. They had 35 coming into this game. They lead the game with 35.
That's good. That's good. That's what I like to hear. I like to hear that. I like to hear our offensive line was holding up. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
That makes me very happy. Now, granted, come next week against Pittsburgh, you know they're gonna have more of a tough time,
Yeah.
especially especially dealing with TJ Watt off of the edge. But if they can contain Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence,
Lawrence.
and I don't think Kayvon was playing today.
I don't think so. Or if he was, he did absolutely nothing.
Yeah. But that's what I like to hear. I like to hear our offensive line is doing that. But next week against Pittsburgh is going to be more of a challenge. But I believe we got that one. So we'll see what happens. But I'm glad to hear that today.
Yeah. But Jayden was putting on and putting out relatively much. 15 of 22, 209, 2 touchdowns, 128 passer rating with 68% completion percentage, 35 rushing yards. So he was doing relatively well. Remember, week 2, we were just kicking field goals after field goals after field goals. We were making Pat McAfee proud. We were doing it for the brand. And today we're like, we'll still kick 2 field goals. That's fine. And yet we'll throw for 3 touchdowns and only punt twice. Like Tressway made his appearance, and you're like, oh, nice. So back to the game.
I thought he only threw for 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, 2 touchdowns.
Oh, did I say 3?
Yeah.
My bad. 2 touchdowns. My bad. And 35 rushing yards. That's right. My bad. That's all me. But Jayden now holds yet another rookie record. He is the only rookie quarterback in the Super Bowl era to beat the New York Football Giants multiple times in a season. Call up New Japan, call up Kenny Omega, pull out the broom, and start sweeping these Giants down the hobbit hole.
I feel like we need to start a list or something for all his rookie records. Because he has so many, right? We need to compile them onto a list.
I think every game after week 3, he is broken, created, or tied one.
Yeah.
I think week 3 and 4, he had like 10 in in those. So in this game, we were without Brian Robinson. He was practicing, during, warm-ups. They decided, you know what? He didn't look comfortable. On one of the other side caution, they listen, inactive. And I will give credit as due. When a player does not look comfortable, ready to go, the team doesn't say, we'll try. They say, no, you're not playing. That's why you've got depth. So Jerry McNichols came out. Austin Eckler came out. You called up Chris Rodriguez in the practice squad. And they're calling on and played well. They were saying on commentary, Dan Quinn does these, captains by the week. Chris might have made his argument for a captain next week.
I believe he averaged 4.8 yards a carry, right? He had, how many yards did he have?
Chris Rodriguez went 11 carries for 52 yards, averaged 4.7. So you were actually pretty square on the money. Eckler went 11. Good. Yeah, Eckler 11 of 42 for a tutty, averaged 3.8. Jayden didn't run all that well. 8 of 35 yards to average 4.4. And then McNichols just had strong carries, 8 of 20 for 2.5 yards a carry. So again, we had about 150 rushing yards, but it was spread out. It wasn't, run. It was run, pass, pass.
Yep. And I feel like if we had B-Rob, our scheme would have been pretty different because we would have wanted to take more of the Giants approach in the first half, running it, wearing down the defense, converting first downs on short third downs.
Yep.
So, I mean, it definitely, we saw a difference there, and it took a slight toll, but it's better to have them healthy than have them healthy next week and have them out multiple weeks. So,
yeah. And shout out to Rodriguez learning the system early and fast, because Dan Quinn said in his post-game conference, Chris Rodriguez only knew he was going to play this game 90 minutes before kickoff.
Yep.
But yet he was the one he was the one that ran it down to the goal line, got stuffed at the 1, and we just QB kneeled, sending us into the game. Now, I said there was Andrew before we started recording. Dan Quinn is a better man than I am because I would have ran that into the end zone. I would have got up to the line, looked around, said, "We got time." Tush push.
Chris Rodriguez tried to.
He,
I actually think he may have gotten in.
I
But they
think
didn't give it to him.
it was uber close, but I think at that
It
point
was
you're
right
like,
there.
yeah, you're like you're game over at this point.
Technically, it was better if he didn't get in because we could just
Yeah,
kneel it out. But
exactly.
yeah,
Um, but I mean, all around, relatively good game. And mind you, John kind of said this best. The over under on our win total coming into the season was 6.5. We have 7. We are now the first team to hit this over this season in terms of winning already. First one.
exceeding expectations.
Exactly. You love to see it. I want to go back to the defense. One man who deserves credit for this coming to the team, coming back with Dan Quinn, becoming the true edge one of this team. Dante Fowler Jr., number 6. Now, earlier in the game, towards the end, Dan Dimes decides to truck Dante Fowler and Mikey Sanderson into the end zone. So, mind you, not the greatest game. But Fowler had 2 sacks on the game. He's at six and a half sacks this season. He's on pace for like 12.
Yeah. Jordan Schultz posted something on Instagram that I'm going to quote here. He said, time to start the Pro Bowl recognition for Dante Fowler in DC. The 10-year vet is enjoying a career year with 6.5 sacks and a pick 6 for Dan Quinn's defense. I like it.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him in the Pro Bowl.
I would agree.
That's deserved at this point. Yeah, if he keeps this pace, yeah.
I would agree. I think Dante's going in. I think Louisville will get it. I think Bobby will get it. I think Sanders still can make a case for making it as a rookie. Jayden for sure.
Yep.
Is making a Pro Bowl. If he doesn't, heads are gonna roll. In
Tyler
Biotish, yeah, Sam Cosme.
Yep.
Coleman
been good.
Coleman can make it. I mean, you can make a case for this entire team making a Pro Bowl.
Just about. Yeah.
Will it happen? No. You're gonna have other guys. You're gonna have your
Terry.
Your Terry for sure. But you're gonna have your Terry, Brian Branches. Yeah. You're gonna have your Amon-Ra St. Browns. Like you're gonna have guys who are obviously gonna take it to the next level. But you can make a case for a lot of guys. Terry had 2 touchdowns and 19 receiving yards.
2 touchdowns. He already has more touchdowns than he had last year. And we're like just barely over halfway.
Yeah. So I'm not I'm gonna complain that he didn't get more yards because Noah Brown led the team. But another 2 touchdown game is a good day for Terry McLaurin.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And he was getting, talkative with Dante Banks.
17 played today. Just remember that.
Yeah. Where'd 3 go? I didn't see really 3 on the field except getting, reamed. But think about this: Jalen Johnson talked smack, got beat out. Tyreek Stevenson talked junk, caused the Hail Mary, and was getting burned. Dante Banks talked and got burned for 2 touchdowns. When are people going to learn that Terry's going to talk his shit? Don't talk to Terry. Talk your shit 1-7, and he's going to show up on the field. He reminds me of a less dramatic Chad Ochocinco.
There you go.
He's going to talk it. You're going to hear people talk about him, but he's going to show up on the field. I mean, unless you guys can think of a better way to put it, or people in the comments want to think of a better comp for Terry right now, that's all I can say is a less diva Chad Ochocinco.
I like it.
That's what I can think of. But another day, another win. What? I mean, we said it earlier. 7-2 for the first time since 1996. before any of us were a twinkle in the Father's eye, before any of us had even been in God's image, thinking about, you know what, they need a shot. Before Dan Snyder took over, this is when Jack Cook, I get the two mixed up, still owned the team. Back when, people weren't quarterbacky enough for the league at that time. Back before Madden was a thing, before computers were getting in. Pre 9/11, pre Y2K. 7-2.
Crazy.
Great. Chris, we have what? 7 games remaining?
13,
15.
Yeah, 7.
Yeah.
7.
7.
Yeah.
If we win 500 the rest of the season,
we still make the playoffs.
We would have a 10-11 year win.
I don't see any possibility of us having less than 11 wins. I think our minimum's 11, and I could see us getting up to 13.
I say at least 10.
I'm saying at least 11.
Oh, excuse me. I misspoke. We have 8 games remaining because week 18. We have 8.
Yeah.
But we're at 7.
Oh, yeah.
We go to 11 if we go 4.
I'm gonna say we at least can win. I'll say 4 to 6 more games we can win. Pittsburgh, that's 50-50. Philly is 50-50. With Dallas,
I think you could split that. I think end of season they'll figure something out.
I think you can. You'll probably split Dallas. You'll probably beat them up here, and then
lose in Jerry World.
Yeah, and then they beat us in Jerry World.
I think you beat Tennessee. I think you beat the Saints. I think you can beat the Falcons.
Yeah, so I mean, I can see us going.
Falcons are a good team.
They are.
And to be honest, I could probably honestly see us going 12-5. I could see us being in the middle of the pack.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, all I'm going to say is we have more wins now already than the entirety of the Ron Rivera era.
Wow.
3 because we went 7-9, 7-9, 7-10, and we had a tie winning. I think we were like 8-1. I think we're perfectly. Okay. Or no,
we went 7-9, 7-10, 8-1, and 4-13.
There we go. Thank you. So in 3 of your 4 years, we have as many wins by week 9 than you did an entire season.
Yeah.
I think that shows Dan Quinn knows what he's doing a little bit more than Ron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I would argue that he deserves Coach of the Year right now.
Yeah. For sure.
I don't see anyone else beating him.
No. One thing I'll touch on before we go with the trade line approaching, you guys are recording this Sunday night, you'll see this Monday. So 24 hours out from the trade deadline. Do we make moves for a corner? That is the big thing. And we're connected to, like we said, been saying, Greg Newsome, Jonathan Jones,
yes,
Marshawn Lattimore.
Yes, please.
I don't see Benjamin St. Juste making it to next season, but that's neither here nor there. Do we make a move and for who? I'll let Chris start.
Marshawn Lattimore. It's going to be the most simplest one from what I've heard is that he could possibly be on the move by Tuesday. I think if I'm Washington, I think I'm calling up New Orleans and trying to make a deal for him. Honestly, you could probably get a bag of chips for him. I don't see us getting anybody else. I think other teams might want a little too much for their corners, but I think Marshawn Lattimore would be fine.
Fair. What about you, Andrew?
I'm going to agree with Chris on this one. I mean, Saints are rebuilding. They're 2-7. right? There's no chance they're making the playoffs this year. Derek Carr's struggling. They're going to be selling. They want to build ammo. I think we could get him agreed for a good price. And he's still a really talented player. And I feel like moving him here could bring back that old spark in him. And I'd love to see him on this team. Way better than anyone else we have right now. So
Yeah, I mean, St. Just again is St. Groovy here at BIB here in these Commander streets. St. Groovy had another DPI today. And I said on Twitter, we gotta have these betting odds. I have over under 1.5 DPIs per game. I would have bet the under and still would have hit. I like Lattimore. I think the other name we're probably looking into the most is Greg and Newsome, the second out of the Browns. They're a god awful team. They're probably going quarterback with the top 3 pick because they're going to have a top 3 to 5 pick. They're going to go because they've already paid Denzel Ward. We will gladly take Greg Newsome. I'll give you juiced and a 4th for him.
we'll do the deal.
I do the deal right now. I'll shake your hand under the table just like this. Just give me Greg Newsome. Maybe you pull off a sweet deal for Jonathan Jones, and I would not be mad at it. I don't see an edge that we're going to overtake. I think Zadarius Smith probably goes to the Browns or to the Lions. Excuse me. Josh Uche just went to the Chiefs, which was unfair. I would have loved Josh Uche. I think. And Trey Hendrickson, I don't think is moving on from the Bengals. And I don't see a receiver, especially with Christian Kirk getting injured. T. Higgins kind of being the second option for the Bengals. I don't see a receiver going on the market that we'd be because we were not going to be in the Devontae sweepstakes. We were not in the Amari Cooper sweepstakes, and if we were, they definitely didn't happen as what we had hoped. So I think corner is the best move. I think Lattimore and Newsome are the 2 targets, and we will see in the next 24 to 48 hours how this plays down.
Yep.
I touched us on this off stream, but before we wrap things up, Saquon Barkley in a Kelly Green uniform. Now, I think Kelly Green is one of the best jerseys the Philadelphia Eagles have ever produced. They look crispy. You put Saquon in them, you make some girls and guys wet dream. Saquon Barkley decides to disrespect the Jacksonville Jaguars. Why? So he runs out to the flat, breaks an ankle, spin moves a guy, and then does a backwards hurdle. Who let this man figure out the cheat codes to the Xbox 360? Who let this man click circle, X, and triangle all within 3.5 seconds?
I've never seen a backwards hurdle before in my life.
Nope.
That was the first time I've seen that.
We're getting cooked.
When they say Madden isn't realistic, when college football 25 isn't realistic, I want you to pull up plays like that and say, how about you now?
If Tracy was running over us like that in the first half, I'm a little worried for Saquon. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. And as much as we all want to, we all can have fun saying, oh, we hate the Cowboys, fuck the Eagles. Saquon's been a damn good player his entire career.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
New York did him no favors, got him injured a lot. He comes to Philly. He's already out. He's already over 1,000 yards rushing. And I think he has like 10 touchdowns on the year combined.
Crazy.
Like I said, I'm a little scared of Saquon Barkley. And frankly, if he wasn't on a division rival, I'd probably wear his jersey. But he's on the Eagles, so I'm not going to. But I know it's not one, but this is a Commanders podcast. I gotta give credit where credit is due, and I gotta give love where love is due. No one has seen a backward, like Andrew said, when was the last time you seen a backwards hurdle in your life?
Never.
Not in sports, maybe in pro wrestling, maybe in the opera, maybe in theater, but not in sports. Just disrespecting the Jacksonville Jaguars. But 7-2. Another victory Monday. We are still kings of the East. We are still one of the two best teams in the NFC. Still one of the best 5 teams in the NFL. But you could have done more. Don't look at us. Look at the run defense. Look at the corners. Linebacker and safety came to play. Jeremy Chin had like a breakup, a pass deflection. A clutch one, mind you. But like we said, defense needs to get better. Rush defense and corners need to be upgraded. But offense just keeps getting better and better by the week, getting more efficient by the week too.
Yep.
But any closing remarks, satisfaction comments, or snarky remarks y'all want to have before we get out of here?
Let's make it 8-2.
Take it one game at a time.
Hey, one game at a time might lead us to 8-2. You never know. Mike Tomlin might be in trouble. But guys, that's gonna wrap things up here on BIB. Another victory Monday as we pulled out the brooms from the closet and swept the New York Giants 27-22. Before we get here, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe here on YouTube, here on the Ballin' and Burgundy podcast, on the road to 500 subscribers. We're nearly 100 there. We're sitting at 401 right now. Get us there by Christmas. That is what I wish for Christmas. But you could have had something else. I want 500 subs by Christmas. I think we can get there. I think we can do it. I think
so too.
And it's up to you guys who watch us. Over 90% of our viewers who watch are not subscribed. It takes 3 seconds of your time. It's absolutely free, and it supports us here on the channel, make better content, get more guests, get more episodes out for you guys. Because we only do this for the love of the game, for the love of the sport. We have a passion for this, and we love the fans who watch, our Burgundy Ballers who watch. So like and subscribe. Follow us on all the social media, at Ballin' and Burgundy Podcast, Twitter and TikTok, at BIB Podcast 22 on X. Shout out to Rio, to Josh, to Tony, to Corey, to watching on the daily for supporting us since day one. All their links on in the description. I think we need to invest in a Jayden Daniels jersey at this rate and protect this at all costs. But 7-2, let's enjoy Victory Monday while it's here. Let's enjoy the brewskis that Josh Harrett keeps buying for the team. Let's head in. Let's prep for the Steelers because that is always going to be a tough game. But until then, guys, raise hail and don't forget to stay ballin'. We'll see y'all out there.